All right, let's get started. Today we are practicing the element of art that is line. So I have one piece of paper where I'm going to practice drawing all of the different kinds of lines. And then I'm going to have another paper I'm going to put away just for now that I'm going to do my final artwork on. So in order to practice all my lines, Miss Armstrong has taken all of these different types of lines on our line paper and I put them on these blue stickers so they're a little bit easier to see and I can show them to you closer. So the first type of line we're going to practice is a straight line. A straight line, everybody say straight line. A straight line goes from one point to the other with no bending or curving or anything. So you can either use your crayons, your colored pencils, or your markers to draw that line. I am going to use a blue crayon to go boom, a straight line. A straight line can be really short or it can be really long. There's my straight line. Go ahead and draw a straight line on your practice paper. All right, moving on. The next line we're going to talk about is a curvy or a wavy line. So this is really two different kinds of lines. I want you to practice with me. A curvy line just has a wavy line just has little waves, and a curvy line is very similar. So let's draw them out. I am going to choose my blue marker for this one because waves makes me think of the ocean. So to make a wavy line, we go up and wave. So it's almost like you're making a little line and then making a little C. This paper is going to be messy, so go ahead and practice a wavy line. A wavy line. And a curvy line is very similar. It just goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. That's also a wavy line. The next type of line we're going to talk about is a loopy line. Say loopy line. I want to hear you all the way from your house. Say loopy line. Oh yeah, this one is a crazy line. I'm going to use my orange colored pencil. Follow me. You go around and around and around. This line is called a loopy line because it makes little loops when you cross over. A loopy line can be big or a loopy line can be small. That is your loopy line. The next kind of line we're going to talk about is a dotted line or a dashed line. Everybody say dotted, dashed. Good. So a dotted line, I'm going to choose my brown colored pencil. A dotted line is a little dot, and then you keep going with little dots until it makes a line. Go ahead and practice a dotted line. Dot, 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 dot. If you're practicing with your crayons and you're making a dotted line with your crayons, make sure not to slam the crayons into the picture. Because if you go like this, you could break them. Same thing with the colored pencil. You want to be gentle. Everybody say dashed lines. Dashed lines. So dashed lines are like dotted lines, but instead, that is called a dash. A tiny little straight line is a dash. And if you do a bunch of dashes all right next to each other, this is called a dashed line. Go ahead and practice a dashed line. And they don't all have to go on a straight line. A dashed line can also be a little wavy. All right, the next line we're gonna practice is the zigzag. My favorite line, everybody say zigzag. Take your finger, go zig, zag, zig, zag, zig, zag, zig, zag. Zigzag lines are very, very pointy. So go ahead and choose a color and you are going to watch me first and then go ahead and do it yourself. A zigzag line goes zig, zag, 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 zig, zag. Go ahead and practice a zigzag line. Wow. Shake your hands out. That was a lot of lines. Say, I'm so good at drawing lines. Yeah, you are. All right, the next kind of line we're going to talk about is curly or spiral lines. Say curly or spiral. Awesome. I am going to choose my green color for this one. A curly line looks like this. It's kind of like our loopy line, but it's a little bit messier. All right, that's curly. Go ahead and practice a curly line. And your curly lines can either be big or they can be small. All right, say spiral. A spiral line is like the shape circle, except it goes in and in. This is called a spiral. Go ahead and practice a spiral line. Wow, it is really hard to keep that marker without going over the lines. I'm trying my best. This paper sure is getting messy, but it looks so cool. Everybody say next one. The castle line. So this one's called the castle line because it looks like the top of a castle. So we are going to practice drawing a castle line with our finger first because this one's tricky. Go ahead and do it with me. Hold your finger out. Say up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over. So let's try that one on our paper. Here's what it looks like. Watch me first, and then you can practice. I'm actually gonna turn my paper upside down. So I'm gonna start at my point. I'm gonna go up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over. Wow. Let's try a small castle line. Up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over. I really like that castle line. All right, the next one is a scalloped line. Everybody say scalloped line. It looks like little anthills. Let's go ahead and give a scalloped line a try. I'm going to use my yellow color pencil for this one. A scalloped line is where you start at a point and you go around, almost like you're making little M's. The scalloped bumps are right next to each other. It almost looks like the scales on a fish if I was to put more scallops next to it. So scallops can be small or scallops can be big. Go ahead and try some scalloped lines. All right, our next line, everybody say thick and thin. A thick line is thick and a thin line is really thin. Any line on our paper can be thick or thin. We are going to use the straight line to practice. So practice, watch me first and then you can practice. A thick line, you might have to go over more than once. That is a nice thick line. A thin line is skinny, so let's try that one. All right, you give it a try. Draw one thick line and one thin line. I can try it with a curvy line too. I'm gonna draw a thick, curvy line and then a thin, curvy line. So we can see that they are not the same. They are different. The next line we're gonna do is kind of crazy. Everybody say bumpy line. Bumpy lines are kind of like you're trying to draw and somebody keeps hitting your hand. So I'm gonna try and draw my bumpy line. Bumpy. That is a bumpy line. Go ahead and practice a bumpy line. It's like someone's trying to hit my hand as I'm drawing. Bump, 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 bump. That is one wild line and I love it. And we have one more line that is super crazy. Go ahead and finish your bumpy line. All right, the next one is a scribbly line. Everybody say scribbly. Scribbly is kind of messy. I'm gonna turn my paper back around. Watch me draw a scribbly line. It's a lot like the bumpy line, except it also has swirlies and straight lines and zigzag lines. It is super scribbly. I'm just gonna scribble, 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 scribble. Go ahead and draw a scribbly line. Nice job. Go ahead and put your crayons and colored pencils to the side. We are gonna move on to our final drawing. Say, my lines are awesome. Give yourself 2 pats on the back. 1, 2. Excellent job. Now I'm gonna switch out my final paper and my practice paper so I can start my final drawing. I don't wanna forget about this paper though, because this was all my practice. So I'm just gonna put it at the top so I can see. We are gonna start drawing our pumpkin. So I want you to stay with me. Don't go ahead and draw your circle without me. Everybody say, stay with you. All right, now I know pumpkins are orange, so I am gonna choose an orange colored pencil to start my pumpkin. Actually, I think I'm gonna use an orange crayon to draw my pumpkin. Here we go. Now here, I want you to follow me. Put your crayon or colored pencil at the top of the paper. Excellent. We are going to draw a big capital C on the left side of the paper. Watch me first. Ready? I'm gonna go. Watching me, eyes on me. And I'm just gonna draw a C and stop. Wow, that looks pretty good. All right, now I wanna go back to the top. Go back to the top, put your crayon where you started, and go over just a tiny bit. Now what we're gonna do, watch me first, is draw a backwards capital C, and you wanna use the whole paper. So watch me first. I'm gonna go all the way around backwards C and end up at the bottom. Wow, that kind of looks like a pumpkin. Go ahead and draw it now. One big capital C on the left side and one backward C on the right side. All right, at the top, we need our pumpkin stem. So you're just going to do the top of a castle line. You're gonna go up, over, down, and you have your pumpkin stem. What you can do too is take your green and you can make some swirlies. That'll look like little decorations coming out of your pumpkin. All right, now I need you to get ready. Get that crayon and go back to your starting point. Are you ready? We are going to connect our line from here to here. Watch me first, and then it's your turn. Ready? My turn. I'm gonna go all the way around and stop. Your turn. Go ahead. All the way around. I'm gonna make a line. Stop. All right, next one is my turn. I'm gonna go back to that starting point and I'm gonna go around, make another line, and stop. Okay, your turn. Awesome. Go back to that starting point. I'm gonna make a skinny C because we're getting close to the center of our pumpkin. My turn, your turn. All right, I'm gonna make one more line almost straight down. Watch me. I'm gonna go down to the line. Wow, that looks like half of a pumpkin. Go ahead, do your line. Awesome. Now we're gonna go over to that other line that we used. Go back to this point where we started our other side. And we are gonna do that backward C and go all the way down to the bottom. Watch me first. Don't get tricked, watch me first. Go ahead, draw a backward C. Oh, that doesn't look perfect, but that's okay. I'm gonna stay strong because it still looks pretty good. Go ahead and draw your line. When you're done, go back to that starting point and make another backward C. All the way down to the bottom. Nice job. Your turn. And last one, I'm gonna go back to that starting point and I'm gonna make my last line. And I am done with my pumpkin lines. I love it. Go ahead and draw your last pumpkin line. Awesome. Now let's count how many lines do I have in my pumpkin? So I put my crayon away, and now I'm going to count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 lines in my pumpkin. Now everybody say, fill up my lines with more lines. All right, here we go. You may choose any color you would like to fill up our fall pumpkin drawing. I am going to start with my scalloped lines because I think they're going to look really cool. And all I'm going to do is inside of this stripe, I'm going to practice my scallop lines. Go ahead and choose. You do not have to choose the same lines as Miss Armstrong. You can choose your own line. Choose out of all of our lines, which line do you want to practice in your first part of your pumpkin? Go ahead and add some lines. You can either copy me or you can come up with your own ideas for different kinds of lines to add. But I am just filling up this part of my pumpkin with different kinds of scalloped lines. I'm practicing. I'm gonna fill up my whole pumpkin with lines. Now, if you're in kindergarten, I hope you choose one line. If you are in first grade, maybe you wanna choose 2 kinds of lines and make a pattern. You can choose whatever you feel comfortable with. All right, I filled up one whole line of my pumpkin. If you didn't finish filling up your line, that is okay. I love that you are taking your time. Miss Armstrong's gonna move on. If you need to pause the video, you can press pause, finish your line, and then come catch up with me. For my next part of my pumpkin, I am going to choose 2 colors because I want to make a pattern. A pattern is something that repeats itself. So here's an example of a pattern. Straight line, zigzag line. I'm going to show you how to make a pattern with these 2 lines. Again, if you are not ready to move on, press pause on the video and just finish your part of your pumpkin until you're ready to move on. If you're ready to go, here we go. I'm going to make a straight line with my brown colored pencil, and I'm going to make a zigzag line with my red colored pencil. If I want it to be a pattern, it has to repeat itself. So here we go. I'm going to repeat it. Straight, zigzag, straight, zigzag. And my zigzags can be kind of crazy. I love crazy lines. Wow, this pumpkin is sure starting to look pretty cool for fall. Fall starts on September 22nd, which is Tuesday of this week. It's a whole new season and summer will be over. All right, I'm still making my pattern. Zigzag, straight, zigzag, straight. It is repeating itself because it is a pattern. Zigzag and straight. Ooh, I did a zigzag line. See, that's okay, Miss Armstrong. Stay strong. I'll just make a thick straight line. There we go. Maybe I'll do thick line, thin line. Thick line, thin line. Ooh, that looks pretty cool. Sometimes when we make mistakes on our artwork, it can turn into something super cool. So if I ever make a mistake, I just am going to go with it. I'm going to say maybe that was meant to be. And I am going to make some of my lines thick and some of them thin. And I know that we can do that because there is our other type of line. That's thick line and thin line. There we go. Wow, I love that. If you want to try doing a pattern too, go ahead. If you're not ready for that, that is okay. Go ahead and just add one type of line in here. If you are ready for the next one, we're going to start on the next one. If you need to pause the video, go ahead and press pause. Otherwise, we're going to move on. Here we go. I'm going to choose my color. I'm going to choose, I think I'm going to choose dark green this time. And I'm going to do, what do I want to do? I'm going to do dotted lines. So I'm going to go ahead and do dotted lines, and I'm going to make them kind of crazy. Dot, dot, dot. I'm going to make them do some crazy swirly dotty lines. Go ahead and choose your next type of line and fill in your next part of your pumpkin. So many lines. There's lines in our pumpkin. There's lines in the pumpkin. I love lines. This is one of my favorite elements of art. So Miss Armstrong's using a dotted line to make a wavy dotted line. Wow, that one was fast. If you're done, you can stay with me. If you need to pause the video, that is a-okay. All right, I'm gonna move on to the next one. The next kind of line I'm gonna choose is a castle line. I love castle lines. I'm gonna choose purple. Remember, castle lines go up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over. Wow, there's not very much space in this line, but I'm gonna stay strong. Up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over, up, over. I think it's time for you to choose your next line and go ahead and fill up that pumpkin. Remember, if you feel brave, you can try to add 2 different kinds of lines in one space. If you're not feeling ready, that is okay. This is my castle line. And it is up to you what kind of colors you choose for your pumpkin. Miss Armstrong's not choosing your colors. I like when you guys get to choose what kind of creativity you're going to have. So there we go. I built up this part of my pumpkin with castle lines. Moving on, I already can tell I want to choose this light blue because I have not done any light blue. And I'm gonna do wavy lines because I love blue like the ocean going with my wavy lines. So here I go. I think I'm gonna do some wavy lines right here. Wavy, 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 wavy. Remember, we have 2 different kinds of wavy lines. Some wavy lines just look like this. Some have those little C's in them. Wavy, 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 wavy. You can either copy me or you can do your next line, whatever you choose. I will post a picture of all the different kinds of lines. Here they are. I will post this picture on the Google Slides, just in case you need some help choosing your lines. That is okay. All right, wow, those are some cool lines. I might even want to fill in the background of this, so I'm gonna choose one of my colors to go ahead and fill it in. Now you might be thinking, Miss Armstrong, that was not the directions. But guess what, scholars? I love it when you guys take ideas and you make it your own. So if you wanted to color one in, if you wanted to color it in different colors, if you want to color in the background of your pumpkin, that is totally fine. Say, I'm creative. Say, I try new things. Oh yeah, we just want to keep trying new things and seeing what we really like. So I'm going to move on to the next one. I'm going to choose, did I do loopy lines yet? Ooh, I'm going to choose loopy lines, and I'm going to use my brown color pencil to make some loopy lines. Oh, I did put some loopy lines right up here. I didn't even realize. Loop de loop de loop de loop. Loop de loop de loop de loop de loop de loop de loop. I'm going to actually make a pattern with my loopy lines, but I'm not, let's see. I'm just going to use loopy lines, but I'm going to use different colors for the loopy lines. So my pattern, meaning pattern is when something repeats itself. My pattern is going to be green, brown, green, brown, green, brown. I'm still going to use loopy lines, but I'm going to make a pattern. If you're not feeling brave enough to do a pattern yet, that is okay. Do what you feel you're ready for. We'll do patterns another day too. I'm gonna make all of my green lines and I'm gonna leave space for my brown ones so I can work a little bit faster. If you need more time to make your lines, remember you can always pause the video and then press play when you're ready. Loop-de-loop-de-loop-de-loop-de-loop-de lines. I'm trying to stay in the lines of my pumpkin. I don't want to go whoosh all the way off the page. If you do, that's all right. All right, I have my loopy lines. Wow, that took a long time, but I sure do love those loopy lines. We have 2 more to choose. Oh no, we're almost done. I'm having so much fun. I don't want my drawing to be over. I think I'm going to do some thick and thin lines. So let's see. Ooh, I think I'm gonna use my marker for this because thick and thin lines are easy to do with a marker. If you don't have a marker, that's okay. You can use your colored pencils or your crayons. There are so many crayons to choose from. A thick line looks like that, and a thin line looks like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do some thick and thin lines on my pumpkin. Go ahead and choose your next type of line. You can either copy Miss Armstrong or you can choose your own. Thick, thin. What am I making? Thick, thin. It's repeating itself. What is that called? Thick, thin, thick, thin. It's called a pattern. You're right. And done. I have only one more. I wonder what color I'm gonna choose. I think I'm gonna choose a crayon. Let me look inside this crayon box and see all these colors I can choose from. I am going to choose, I have brown over here, and then I don't have any brown here, so I'm actually gonna choose brown. Brown is a beautiful fall color, and I think it will make my pumpkin look so nice. So, I am going to do, over here, I'm gonna do some curly and spiral lines. Here I go. Ooh. Ooh. Let me do some spirals that turn into other curly lines. Go ahead and fill up your last line on your pumpkin. Ooh, I'm liking these spiral lines. They make my pumpkin look very interesting. All right, so I finished my pumpkin. Now you can go ahead and take time to add things to your pumpkin. Maybe you want to color in some spaces. I might want to color in behind these dots. It's very white, the page, and I want that to go away. I want my drawing to look like I really put a lot of effort into it, and I really took my time. So I'm going to color in the background here. Maybe even, we know fall is when the leaves fall down. That's why it's called fall. So maybe I want to add some leaves in the background. I can add some green leaves falling down from the trees. I can maybe even draw a tree in the background if I felt like it. Maybe I'll add, maybe if you made your pumpkin really small, you can add 2 pumpkins. Go ahead and add some things to make your picture look like you are so excited about the season fall, because summer is over and it is time for a new season. All right, I think I'm also gonna color in behind my spirals. Go ahead and add some finishing touches to your pumpkin. Oh wow, this looks very nice. Maybe I'll use some orange to color in behind my stripes. I don't want to do it all messy like this. I really want to take my time and color in all the spaces. Make my pumpkin look nice and finished. Everybody say craftsmanship. That means you're making it look complete and neat. There we go. I love this pumpkin. I think pumpkins are mostly orange, so I'm going to use the orange to color up, or to cover up these other 2 spaces. I love that I can still see my lines, but the white part of my page is covered in orange. All right, I love my pumpkin. I think I'm just gonna add a few more leaves on the bottom, and I'm gonna call it done. 1, 2, 3. I hope you're adding some leaves too. Maybe you're adding some more swirls coming out of the top of your pumpkin. All right, I am finished with my pumpkin. I love it, and I hope you love your pumpkin too. We had tons and tons of practice drawing our line. Line is an element of art. Remember, Miss Armstrong will add the types of line page on the Google slides, so you can use those if you need some help. We used our colored pencils, our crayons, and maybe some other materials to create our pumpkins, because fall is starting this week. I hope you had a great time, and I'll see you next week.